Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Om Shri Paramagurubhyo Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shri Hanumate Namaha. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 31st of January 2025. I want to offer my prostrations, Ananta Koti Namaskar, to all the great sages present today, yet to come in the past, and to the one supreme Paramatma, Parameshwar, Parameshwari, that is residing everywhere at all times within our hearts. I want to continue today to just stay on the track for a little while on the question of Samadhi. This is a word that is well known to almost everyone in the Sanatana Dharma. This word is very commonly used. But what is this word? What does it mean? So let's break it up. It is composed of two parts, Sama and Dhi. Two parts, Sam and Dhi. When you combine them together, that becomes Samadhi. Excuse me. So the first part of this, Sama, means equal. It means balanced. It means that there is the state of equanimity. That is called Sama, Samatva. This word comes in the Gita quite often also. It is a point, meaning what? That this word is referring to, the Sama part, is referring to a state of equanimity where the usual fluctuations of manovritti, of the mental phenomena, is stilled. It is the stilling, the silencing, the stilling of the mind, the stillness. And in that stillness, there is a sense of balance and there is harmony that prevails. And we've talked about this many, many times. Because this is called Sama. Now, the word Dhi refers to the intellect, the Buddhi. You see, we use the word Buddhi. Dhi means intellect. It means wisdom, insight, awareness, all those words. It signifies the cognitive aspect of consciousness, the capacity for perception, comprehension, and higher knowledge. So remember yesterday we talked about Gnan Samadhi. Gnan Samadhi is what? This is what J. Krishnamurti is talking about, Advait Vedanta is talking about. What's up Gnan Samadhi? We're living in the world. We're living in the world of Jagrat, Swapna, Shushupti, but we're living, one who has Gnan Samadhi is living with highest awareness, is living with great realization of Brahman while experiencing the Jagrat, Swapna, and Shushupti Avastha without any binding in those three. That's the difference. If you have person A and person B, person A has Gnan Samadhi. Person B does not have Gnan Samadhi, is just living like an ordinary person. What's the difference? Let's say the same two people are looking at a red rose. They see the same rose, right? But what's the difference? So the Gnani will say that this is Brahman. He can actually see, it's not seeing Brahman, it is the existence that one supreme consciousness is present in this form. This is Advaita. It's an Advaitic vision of a Jnani. But to reach that topmost state is what Shankaracharya Ji wants. Shankaracharya Ji and Vivek Chudamani and all the different Brahma Sutras and all, it is about being able to just see the same reality without the binding, without rag, dvesha, pulling back and forth, without aham mamatva, without ahankar, without any of those things. It is the perception of the one only as the diversity. And that is called, from an Advaitic tradition, we would say that would, Advaitic standpoint, that is called Gnan Samadhi. There is Nirvikalpa Samadhi and Savikalpa Samadhi also. Nirvikalpa Samadhi is the yogic Samadhi. So you're stilling the mind, silence, 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 silence. And then there's a break that happens out of the Jagrat, Swapna Shushupti, into a different dimension. The body is just lying flat, or somebody sitting maybe in a yogic posture, and they have the chakras open and they go outside this sansar. That is called Yoga Samadhi. This point is discussed in the very first Vachanamrut also by Bhagavan Swaminarayan. There's a question asked by Muktanand Swami and Maharaj, and I'm going to cover that in a lot of detail in the Swaminarayan Spirituality recordings in English. This year sometime, I'll definitely cover that. Probably spend the rest of this year talking about that. It's very, very profound. I mean, it's amazing. But that is called Yoga Samadhi. So now we have different terminology to understand. Understand clearly the terminology. Savikalpa Samadhi, Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Gnan Samadhi, Yoga Samadhi, Prem Samadhi. So let's look at these words carefully. Yoga Samadhi is where the concentration is intense. For example, let's just take Ram mantra. A very simple example. Ram, 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 Ram. Somebody does this Ram mantra, and they're doing it over and over, with a lot of love and affection towards Bhagwan Ram. Eventually, what will happen, the mind will become very still. It will become pure, and it will pretty much stop in terms of its usual function. Then the new dimension opens up. This is true with any mantra sadhana. If it's done properly, eventually the mind stops and you're sitting, something new opens completely. These are yogic experiences. They are transcendental experiences. Different lights appear, different chakras appear, different dimensions appear. This is called mysticism. It's not simply believing in God, it's actually seeing those other dimensions. So this is possible when our usual mental power has been concentrated on the Ishtadevata or an object even, and you see the Ishtadevata, and Ishtadevata comes to you in different ways, and there's this relationship and there's this experience. This is called Savikalpa Samadhi in Advait Vedanta, or Savikalpa Sthiti bhi isko kehte hain. In one sense, Sthiti means a certain development is there. But there is Nirvikalpa Samadhi, and in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the distinction between you and the Ishtadevata, because you're meditating on the Ishtadevata, that dissolves and it becomes one. Where does it become one? Inside of you. Because after all, even the act of worshipping the Devata, the Ishtadevata or Murti, all that is within the field of the mind. If somebody's worshipping Sri Krishna with the form, with the flute, right? Many people do, right? In Sanatana Dharma, there's a beautiful Murti of Sri Krishna with the flute, sometimes with Radhika ji, with a lot of love and affection. It's dualistic, it's Dvaita Bhav. But eventually that heightens, that the development inside of bhakti is so much that duality with the Ishtadevata, it seems to vanish, and there's a great oneness that, there's a sense that is me. Now, one has to be careful not to jump the gun to that point, kind of. But that is like a Nirvikalpa state where there's only Krishna is there. Then I'm not there. Or even if I'm there, there's no me now that is remaining, that is separate. It has become just absorbed inside. So that is also Nirvikalpa from a more bhakti standpoint. From a yogic standpoint, we're using bhakti just as an initial stage and then just going into more mystical dimension, wo bhi hai, then you wind up in the Brahman. There's no you, but there's the effulgence opens, the Brahman effulgence, Brahma Jyoti. And if this body is gone, subtle body is gone, causal body is gone, then the ocean and the drop goes into the ocean, it's finished. So that is called Brahma Shushupti, Garada Pratham 64. That is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi. There's no coming out of that. Once you go into that, there's no you anymore. For example, if you put a drop of water in the Pacific Ocean, can you find that drop of water again? It's gone. It's gone. It's the ocean. So this is what the Advaitic masters have talked about. There is that oceanic consciousness, that is Akshara Brahma, Nirakar Akshara Brahma. And the Jivatma is also Nirakar. It doesn't have any form, but it has given bodies by Prakriti. Eventually it goes out. When the causal body is gone, there's no more rebirth, and the permanent Nirvikalpa Samadhi, which is indescribable at that point. It's done. Because it is Sanatan. Sanatan, the word Sanatan means eternal. That which always is, that which always was, that always will be, that is beyond time. That is called Sanatana. Sanatan doesn't mean religion and all that thing. It means eternality. That which is always existing, that is existence itself. It means eternal. So that Dham, which is called Akshar Dham, or Akshara Brahma is Sanatan. Akshar Dham, the concept of Akshar Dham is even further than the Brahman. But leave that aside for now. The Samadhi concept, this is a word that has been used, for thousands of years, and in the Yoga Sutras, this is described quite a bit. This Nirvikalpa, Savikalpa, and all these different types of Samadhi are described. It basically fundamentally means that there is so much profound equanimity and balance and unified consciousness. Fluctuations have gone. There is the unification of disparate aspects of consciousness. Isn't it true in most people's lives? Their mind is just jumping in places. They're stuck here, somebody's stuck there, kuch rag hai, kuch dvesh hai, somebody said this, some images are inside our mind, other things. Our mind is just a jungle, actually. That's most human beings. Ek prakar ka ek jungle hai. It is a forest, and we're lost inside the jungle of the Antakarana. But Samadhi, my God, that is so beautiful. Unification of disparate, D-I-S-P-A-R-A-T, not desperate, disparate, D-I-S-P-A-R-A-T. Disparate means different aspects of consciousness. Which consciousness? Psychological consciousness. And then behind that psychological consciousness is the original Satchidananda Atma Tattva, Brahma Tattva. How beautiful. This type of life is a life of a jnani. It is a life of a true bhakta, because they're the same. A true bhakta is a true jnani. A true jnani has to be a true bhakta. They're not different. And because we're having a body, the nature, Prakriti, has given us brain, mind, body, intellect, everything it has given us. It has given it to us so we can awaken it to its real power and capacity. Jagruti, tasyam jagrati sanyami. So the intellect, the understanding, the wisdom, the awareness, all these things, they awaken in the human body, because the human body, human mind, human brain has that capacity that is called dhi, D-H-I, buddhi and samadhi. And that is where this fantastic balance and integration of all broken pieces comes together. The usual mental chatter, emotional turbulence subside. That is samadhi. The mental chatter mind thinks only that which is necessary at that time, and it thinks to the right extent, to the right amount, and then it retracts back again into Brahmic consciousness. That retraction back. Which verse in the Gita? Those who are students of the Gita, chapter 2, right? Yada sanharade chayam kurmo angani va sarvashah indriyarthe bhyastasya pragna pratishtita. That just as the tortoise brings in all the limbs and is fixed. That analogy is given by Bhagavan Krishna. How beautiful. Kitna sundar baat hai ye. It shows how we can live in this world day to day, hour to hour, completely free, completely in divine bhakti and love and consciousness, while living with the world. That is the power of Gnan Samadhi. Gnan Samadhi, why Bhagavan Swaminarayan, why he emphasized this point, is because God has given us this body, mind, senses to live in the world. He is not given us to escape from the world. So Nirvikalpa Samadhi, some people are interested in escaping from the world in Nirvikalpa. That you cannot escape from the world. Even if someone goes into that Nirvikalpa Samadhi by intense sadhana, they cannot stay there because they have not developed internally what they need to develop while living in the world. They cannot stay there. In this discussion, भी Vachanamrut में बहुत high level का discussion है वो. Garada Madhya 31, Manandvara Brahmanu Sankaru. Anyway, that's another subject altogether. But how a person comes out of Samadhi, why they come out of Samadhi. Maharaj has explained that 3 reasons why they come out of Samadhi. Again, it's even beyond what we're talking about here. But leave that aside. The point is that Jnana Samadhi is very, very, very powerful. Why is that? Because we remain untouched. We don't get stuck with the situations that are changing constantly in the world. People get overwhelmed by the tragedies of the world. That will not happen at all. You say, wait a minute, should we not be sensitive and compassionate and all that? Of course. Compassion and sensitivity and those things are there, but there's a different vision beyond all that. This is called the 4 types of pralay. That is called Nitya pralay, Naimitik pralay, Prakrut pralay, Atyantika pralay. When we have the vision of these 4 pralayas, pralay meaning dissolution, then Vairagya blossoms to its height. And Jnana and Vairagya, they are 2 wings of the same bird. They go together. The Jnani, as the Jnana increases, the Vairagya also increases. As the Vairagya increases, the Jnana also increases. And so the response to the tragedies of the world is of compassion, and it is coming from wisdom, but there is no binding to the tragedies of the world. None. Does it mean one is careless and all that? No, not at all. There is a vision that pierces through the entire flux of Prakriti. It's something extraordinary. And that vision that pierces through the flux of Prakriti in its entirety, that is called a Brahma Drushti. Brahma Drishti isko kehte. In that vision, in that activity in the world, the enlightened sage's presence blesses all of reality. It's not, oh, I'm so unhappy because this tragedy happened here. Some plane crash happened, some boat sunk here, something happened here. Chhod do ye sab baat. Brahmand ka bhi nash hona hai. The whole Brahmand is the bubble only. These things don't affect the Jnani at all. Not at all. The Jnani remains as a witness, as a witnessing consciousness to the constant fluctuations of the world. And the response is what? The response is of great love, great affection. The response is of a totally different type than our human level response. You know, the human level response is what? Oh my God, I'm so sad. I'm so happy. I'm so sad. I'm so elated. Look at what the Gita teaches us. Gita says, go beyond all of this. There's a lot of verses. The Gnani, the one who has realized the Atman, is in Ananda, is Ananda itself. Not touched by these changes that are constantly going on. Somebody won this election, somebody lost this election, 1,000 people have died here, 1,000 babies are born here. The Gnani has nothing to do with any of this. Absolutely nothing. It is just a bubble. कितने bubble है? मैं आपको सीधी बात करता हूँ, समाधि क्या है? People don't want to talk about these things. It's a fact. You say, it's scary. Like, how can I live like that? There's nothing to be scared about. What is there to be scared about? The fact is, see the reality. Billions of beings are destroyed every minute. Bodies are gone every minute. All species. Billions are coming into the sansar. And to recognize this coming and going and coming and going, and then to dive into Brahmic consciousness with Jnana and Vairagya and Bhakti towards Paramatma, and that same Paramatma is present in all, but has not degraded as the all. The coming and going of the fluctuations of the sansar are seen as they are, but one is untouched by the comings and goings. अंतवंत इमे देहा नित्य सुक्त शरीर. बहुत श्लोक है गीता जी के कि क्या स्थिति है ये. What a sthiti that is. What a state of realization that is. That is beyond human level. वो मनुष्य की level नहीं है. That is वो संत की स्थिति है. वो ऋषि की स्थिति है. That is why when the saffron clothes, Bhagavati Diksha, it is the representation of the Surya Prakash. It is a representation of Brahma Prakash, beyond the three gunas of Maya. And that is called Gnan Nistiti in Gujarati. Gnan Nistiti. Many Vachanamrut are there on this. It is all just so extraordinary. Kya amazing baat hai sab. Can you imagine? We're living in this sansar. But now to change the vision, to see it for what it actually is, as opposed to our very narrow, ego-driven, very limited, me and mine-driven experience. No. इससे ऊपर की level की बात है. One has to be careful because this kind of thing is easily misunderstood. Oh, that's what means that nobody cares about anybody. Who cares about it? No, that's totally wrong. In fact, on the contrary, there is the highest sensitivity, highest compassion, highest love, highest expression of bhakti, highest seva. But there is no personal entanglement of any kind, जिसको हम आसक्ति कहते हैं, बंधन कहते हैं. बंधन है ही नहीं, किसी के साथ बंधन नहीं. और उपासना की दृष्टि से भगवान के जो the 2 feet of God, the चरणारविंद, इसके साथ ही बंधन है, और कुछ नहीं, और कोई नहीं. But that doesn't mean there's no seva. In fact, there is love. And the same Lord, the same Paramatma is seen in all. But it's coming and bodies come and go. Isme kya badi baat? People are so overwhelmed. Oh, my father died, my grandfather died, my brother died, my sister died. Nobody has died at all. Atma Tattva doesn't die. Atma Tattva is not even born. Ajo Nitya Shashvato Yam Purano Na Hanyate Hanyamane Sharire. इसमें श्रद्धा होनी चाहिए कि भगवान कृष्ण जो कहते हैं ये सत्य बात है. It's not some imaginary thing somebody has written. No. इसमें श्रद्धा होनी चाहिए. गीता जी में श्रद्धा होनी चाहिए कि ये जो लिखा है, it is 100% correct. And it is on that basis of shraddha, we can progress further in our spiritual path. And then with that, because we get hurt from inside because somebody says something is happening. That is only our ego. You say, wait a minute, what do you mean by that? We don't realize because we've internalized that limitation inside. The rishis are not hurt from inside. Their presence destroys the hurt of others. That's a difference. The rishis are not hurt from inside. They are sensitive to the hurt of all. And they are living in the highest karuna. Isko karuna kehte, not daya. So that is Brahma Vidya, Brahma Drishti. Well, they're seeing, they are interacting with the world, meaning that the truth, the satyam, is manifesting through the mind, body, senses of the rishi. And that is called Satpurush. That is called a Brahmanishta Sant. Or Brahmanishta and Brahmaveta. 2 words are there. It's already 8:10. I've gone way over time. These things are such that, there's no stopping any of it. Okay. Om Dhyanamulam Guror Murti Mantramulam Guror Vakyam Pujamulam Guror Padam Mokshamulam Guror Krupa Tameva Mata Chipita Tameva Tameva Bandhu Chasakha Tameva Tameva Vidya Dravinam Tameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche Swaha Om Durge Durge Rakshini Tha Tha Swaha Om Divalingaya Namaha Urdhvalingaya Namaha Anandalingaya Namaha Dwadash Jyotirlingaya Namo Namaha Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Shri Radha Krishna Arpanamastu.